On Saturday, August 9th, members of the Society for Creative Anachronisms held their annual Poor Man's Pennsic, a medieval festival and camping adventure at the Lions Club Park in Grand Rapids. Now, we'll experience just a few highlights from this event.
Hi, I'm Anna Meyer, Lady Anna Meyer, and I've just taken up carving wooden spoons. I'm a member of the SCA, which is the Society for Creative Anachronisms. I've been a member since 1979. I met people who were reenacting history, and I studied and I learned and I've had such fun.
So, my name's Sir Kita Girotoramasa. I'm a knight in the society. Every day my name's John Lyon. I'm a therapist, work with kids. What drew me to the society was really the combat. There's nothing quite like the challenge of direct one-on-one fighting someone, or an event that's just wrapping up in Pennsylvania called Pennsic gets 10,000 people, and so standing on a field in armor with 800 of your buddies, looking across the field at 800 guys in armor, and the cannon goes and everyone starts running at each other full tilt. There is nothing quite like that experience of being in the middle of it.
I am Baroness Alexandra de Wasserman. Today I am autocrat for our event here. This is called Poor Man's Pennsic. So it's for all the people that can't afford to go to Pennsylvania. So we try and do a lot of the things that we would find at a war, but on a much smaller scale. I'm also a rapier fighter, and I'm also armored fighter, so I do fight on both fields. The best thing about the SCA, I think, is you can do whatever your passion is. You can fight, you can cook. We try and cook and use the foods that would have been available pre-1600 in Europe. We have woodworking, like the spoons. We have I have a wooden chest in my tent that I use for my clothing that was made. We have armorers, we have blacksmiths, which we do have 3 blacksmiths on site. The more you get into this and the more you find out, the more you want to know. And it does become a passion where you can be anyone you want to be. In real life, I'm a computer programmer. So this is pretty much diametrically opposite of that. I lock all my tech away. And we're here on the armored combat field at Poor Man's Pennsic. We have 2 armored combatants out there. They're fighting with longsword right now. We are basically recreating the knights in shining armor kind of fighting. So they are both in full armor. This is not choreographed at all. When we have 2 fighters go on the field, it's whoever is has the most skill or is having a really good day. We are fighting with rattan, which is a form of bamboo, but it kind of simulates the weight of a sword without killing the other person. We do have a safety person who's out there adjusting his leg right now. He's not a referee. He is there to make sure that there is no armor failures or no weapons failures. We have a really good safety record, and we want to maintain that. And we do that by self-policing each other. And we're always watching out for the other person. The other thing is that we are an honorable group of people. So when we're out fighting, the person who receives the blow tells if it's good or not. So if I hit a person, I can't say, hey, that was good, you're dead. The person who receives the blow is the one that says, yep, that killed.
I am a marshal of the field for rapier. This stick, all marshals have, so that we are clearly seen on the field as marshals. If there is a fight going on and a person is being backed up towards the edge, I will stand behind them or off to the side like this so that their opponent can clearly see that they're getting close to the edge. Sometimes I'll even actually touch the back of the opponent if they get real too close. But usually before that, we use what's called a hold call. I will yell out hold loudly. Everything stops. Everyone is trained. Everything stops for safety, and then we can reset and make it more safe for the fighters. Actually,
we're now on the rapier field at Poor Man's Pennsic. This is more like the 3 Musketeers kind of fighting. We're fighting with actual swords. They are just not edged and they have a blunted tip. What's going on right now is actually an authorization bout. So Lady Kiku, who is in the black hood, is basically this is a test for her. So if she passes this, then she can fight with 2 swords anytime she wants.
My SCA name is James the Smith, and my regular name is James Christopher Katsonis, and I'm from Wisconsin Rapids. So yes, I'm local. Yay, us! So basically, I'm making some Damascus steel. It has 5 layers of one type of metal, 1095, which is high carbon steel. And then I have 5 pieces of 8670, which is an alloy steel. And so when the 2 are put together, one will stay shiny, and one will become very dark and black, almost like the color of the coal that's in the forge. And then once I get it done, I will draw the whole piece out. I will roll it all together. It's called a jelly roll. And then I will turn it into a 10-inch chef knife. So good times on that one, but it takes a lot of heat and a lot of work to weld them all together.
So the crank that he's moving around is blowing air underneath the fire, and of course fire needs air to burn, so by channeling it over the flames, he's allowing the flames to keep burning and to make them hotter. Then when the metal is hot enough, when it's glowing that bright color, he's going to pull it out and very quickly take it over to his anvil and pound it to get those layers of metal that he was talking about stuck together, welded together.
If you take a look here, you can actually start seeing the layers coming out, and then that way we can make sure that all the layers are working properly.
Pretty much anything that's metal and useful for someone recreating the Middle Ages, these guys can make happen. Custom hooks, things for your camp, things for your kitchen. They learn one skill at a time, and they put them all together to make very complex, very beautiful pieces of art. So here we have some of our merchants. Some of them are selling things that they themselves have handcrafted. Some of them are selling things they've found in their travels or ordered. The pottery here is by Lord Toston in the pink shirt right in front of us, and he's talking with someone about his wares and the arts that he creates. We have merchants that sell things like chains and jewelry there in the background, furs, foods, drinking vessels, horns, swords, clothing, pretty much anything that you see us using. Somebody needed to make it somewhere along the line. We need to get it from somewhere. So for those of us who don't necessarily have every single skill to make every single thing we use, which is pretty much everyone, we may buy or barter or trade for some of these skills.
Good day. I am Cudrin the Pilgrim, and I am speaking to you from the year 1286. Normally I live in the Ettrick Forest of Scotland, but I've come up here to Falcon's Keep because I'm sitting vigil for the Order of the Laurel in the Society for Creative Anachronism. The Laurel is an award for those who have exhibited passion, if you will, for the arts, the sciences. So we do stuff, we make things. So we discover things that we never knew that we could do, and sometimes we discover things we never even knew we wanted to do. But it's all part of the society that we belong to and that we love.
The fellow with the black staff, I think, is going to joust at the rings here. So he rides by and tries to hit this very small ring with the tip of his lance. It looks like he collected all 3 of them. That was a very good pass. She's guiding her horse through slowly, just getting him used to this activity. It can be very discomforting to have a sword swinging right by your head for these horses. So they're eased into the activities very gently, very slowly, and the goal is safety, to make sure that the horse and the rider are both comfortable with what the other is doing. So if someone seems to be going through the passes slowly, it may be because their horse is new or skittish or sick or something like that, and they're just starting to get used to it, learning the activity, and they will pick up speed as they go, and eventually they'll be riding through at a full trot or full gallop.
Hello, I'm Baroness Mira, first daughter. I am the Baroness of the Barony of Windhaven, and we cover the area of Brown County, Fox, Outagamie County, and that part of...
Everything north of Oshkosh.
Yeah, Wisconsin. And my husband,
Grimond
Blackwing, and I are Baron and Baroness for that group. And so we are landed barons and baronesses, and you'll notice our coronets are gold coronets. Baroness Alexandra is a court baroness, and you'll notice her coronet is silver. We were made baron and baroness. We were selected to be baron and baroness to hold the land in Fife for the king and queen. Baroness Alexandra has been honored by the king and queen for all of the years that she has served the kingdom for the Shire of Falcons Keep, and she has served them for 20 years. She has worked hard. She and her husband both have worked hard. They've been the backbone of Falcons Keep, and this is a well-deserved honor that the king and queen bestowed upon them for that service.
I'm dressed as a Danish woman of 1300 BC. I wove this shirt on a warp-weighted loom. You weave from top to bottom, and it's woven all in one piece.
We have quite the assortment here, beginning with 1300 BC and ending in 1580. So we have fashion through the ages. Okay, this is Lady Audrey. She is one of our armored combatants. She is up here in a lorica segmenta, which is a Roman style of armor. What's unique about this armor is that because of the way it's formed, when you take it off, it will compress down into a very small space. Very flexible. It's also very flexible. It moves every way she moves. This is from about 620 CE in northern Italy. There are no pictorial representations of female costume from this time period. Spain and her lord are from the mid-14th century Europe. The braids are called plaits. She has a frilled veil of linen. The smock and kirtle is also linen. She is wearing a leather belt and pouch. And she's going to be a little risque here. Trying to calm down, keep calm. But she is going to show some ankle here. She is wearing linen hose with garters and Kulin leather shoes. She is quite the mid-14th century lady, and she is escorted by her lord.
I am Lord Jean de Malchance.
Sir.
Oh, sir, Lord. But anyway, I represent the 14th century, which is the transition in armor from, you have seen instances where people are wearing leather or chainmail or plates on leather and cloth. I represent a leather and cloth upper, Visby style 1364 battle armor. But the transition is to steel on steel with articulation like these knees. What I'm wearing leads to the full steel suit of armor that you'll see normally represented in the movie.
Annalisa Fiore, very good, is from the 14th century. She's wearing a Gothic fitted gown. The coronet is also a 14th century design with lapis lazuli stones. She's got short 14th century boots.
And really cool socks.
She's wearing a black belt with paternoster on it. Very important accessory. Thank you.
My modern name is Dina Patterson, but my SCA name is Joyce Corbett. She's a 1420s English woman. Her father was at the Battle of Agincourt, where archery was very important, a very decisive feature of that battle. I really enjoy archery before any of the Hunger Games movies came out. And so I wanted to pick a persona, a person who could have lived in the Middle Ages, where she would live in a culture where archery was very important and very respected, because I really enjoy it. And right now what we're seeing to the right of me is our heavy weapons combat. These are our lords and ladies who dress up in armor, who are sparring, fighting with swords, spears, pole arms, bows and arrows. All of these weapons are made of rattan, or in the case of arrows, foam and plastic, things like that, rubber. And they are sparring. It's not choreographed. They are trying to kill each other. They're trying to strike a good blow to someone's head, their body, their arms, their legs, all of the targets that we've decided are legal and safe to hit. And they are then acting out the blows, or dying and then resurrecting, touching a point, coming back to life, getting to play again. We have here an example of our heavy weapons combat. We have two opposing teams, a blue team and a red team. There's one person, the guy who just said good there, has a blue flag. He is the king on the blue team. And their goal in this game is to move the king with the flag to the other side of the field, across the other line of opposing fighters. If the flag and the king get to the goal, they score a point, essentially. If the king is injured, the people on his team need to get him back to their side of the field, their own side, where they have what's called a resurrection point. You can get back up and fight again. This is representative of your healers taking care of you, healing an injury. So it looks like the red team has moved to the blue side of the field safely. Their king with the red flag has scored a point because they crossed the line. The teams have reset. They're going forward again. They're advancing more or less in two lines. And you can see the people who are playing the kings are standing back a little bit because they're waiting for their teammates to kill the opposing line and make a hole for them to get through. Since they have a flag, they don't actually have a weapon. They can't kill anyone themselves. They have to rely on their teammates. They have to work together for their team to be successful. And the blue king was just isolated. There was none of his team between him and two of the red fighters. And so he was killed. The red king just brought, I believe it was two or three of his men with him, and they protected him against the blue forces. So it looks like the red king may have gotten across the line again, and red has scored a point now. And it may be hard to tell when they're all in armor like this, but we do have fighters of all stripes, of all ages, both genders, a really wide diversity of people. I have seen on the battlefield 70-something-year-old gentlemen tear across the bridge on a bridge battle and fight incredibly well and make it through the opposing line of enemies. You know, we have old fighters, we have young fighters, we have, I've seen fighters in wheelchairs. We are open to everybody. We try to be a very inclusive society. So there are people, very talented people from all walks of life out here practicing this martial discipline.
The Society for Creative Anachronism holds events year-round. Indoor during the winter, outdoor like this, where it can go anywhere from one day to a week. This one is a little different than most because we're open to the public. We want to show the public what it is we do, and that if they find something they enjoy here, they can join us, and then we have more people to play with. So we love having the public come and check us out, and even if they just want to watch, we love showing off for people.